Now, I promised you an Overwatch video, but it's not going to be specifically about, tactics and stuff like that in Overwatch. It's just kind of going to be about a mindset that you go into whenever you play ranked competitive. This mindset usually isn't in, quick play and arcade, because really winning in those two modes doesn't really matter. But in ranked competitive, it does matter winning, because you're wasting your time if you aren't winning games in ranked competitive. Now, in Overwatch, and not even in Overwatch, in most competitive esports, there's this mindset called flexing. It happens in League of Legends, it happens in Overwatch, where if you don't know what flex positioning is, or flex positions, or whatever, flex positions is, or flexing positions, is when you can play all roles into that specific esport, and because you can play all roles, your teammates can play their specific best roles, and you can kind of fill into those specific roles that they can't play.
Wait, am I live? Oh, get this shit off me! Get this beta shit off me!
So it's kind of like, instead of your team building around you, you build around your team. You fill what is needed to be filled. You fill the gaps in your team. You flex. In Overwatch and in League of Legends, I don't flex. Now, it seems great, right? Like you do what everyone needs you to do. You do, if your team needs a tank, you become a tank. If your team needs a healer, you become a healer. If you play DPS, and if your team needs a DPS, then boom, that's a great match. But usually that doesn't happen. You usually don't get DPS whenever you fill or whenever you flex. Now, the reason why I don't specifically flex or fill is because I know whatever my team is going to play, whether it's, 4 DPS in Overwatch or 2 ADCs in League of Legends, for some ungodly reason, I'll still be able to play my role to the utmost ability, because that's a role that I picked. And in Overwatch, it's a lot more simplistic in the sense that there's maybe 2 to 3 champions that I can play at max, at max strength, and that's Soldier 76, Tracer, maybe Reinhardt. Really, maybe Reinhardt every once in a while. That's kind of it. And it's just like, my champion pool is so small that if I don't get those champions, which I usually do, then I'll just be like, oh, okay, I'll probably play a healer, like a Mercy, for example, which Mercy is pretty easy to play. But I noticed during, one of my Road to Masters episodes, I didn't really win a lot of games whenever I flexed, whenever I fell, or whenever I filled. Guess what I'm going to do from now on? Now on, I'm literally only going to spam DPS, and I'm only going to play DPS. So, I may seem like a jerk about it, but, that last game was kind of like a testament to that. Like, I was 21-0, and it's like every single time I switch to DPS, it's like, oh my god, I get so many kills, but whenever I play tank, I just lose SR. So I'm going to start playing DPS to get my rank back up. I'm going to start playing Tracer. I'm going to not even start playing. I'm going to spam the shit out of Tracer and Soldier. And I was playing a lot of Reinhardt. I was playing some Ana, and I was playing some Mercy. And I just noticed, straight up, like, my team's DPS was not very good. Like, it was not. Even when we were winning games, I was just like, I could do better. When I was looking at my team, I was just like, I could do better. And that's the problem, I feel like, whenever you're playing flex. Isn't necessarily that you can do better than your teammates. It's just like, I can play better if I'm playing DPS. Or I can play better if I'm playing tank. Or if I can play better if I'm playing support. And I think that's the whole problem with flex, or with flexing, or with filling. I'll just call it filling from now on. Whenever you fill into a role, it's probably not your best role. And Stylosa from Unit Lost, he was talking about this.
I will play Reinhardt if we need Reinhardt. I'll flex to other positions. But I feel that right now, when I'm doing this, I'm sort of shooting myself in the foot because the team are just arguing, and then picking 5 DPS. And I'm like, guys, we need a healer or we need a tank. And then somebody goes, you sound like that YouTuber. And I'm like, yeah, people say that to me a lot.
In filling, it's kind of ridiculous because nobody does it. Nobody fills. Nobody will be able to say to themselves, you know what? I recognize that we have 3 DPS, but I'm going to play that tank. I'm going to play that tank even though we have 1 healer and we have another tank. So we have 5 roles selected. We know we need a healer, but we're going to play a tank. I'm going to play a tank. You have people like that in Overwatch. And for me, it's just like, if people don't do it, then there's no point to do it. Like, for instance, I just got off of playing some ranked, and I'm going to save some ranked games for the stream that's going to happen in the next week to 2 weeks. I'm going to save a couple of those games. And it went into overtime. And we were on a control payload map. And we had to defend this 1 point to be able to win the game. So what had happened was, and it was, we had already secured both objectives. We had already, finished the map twice. We pushed the payload twice. So the enemy team, they had to do exactly what we did in about like 2 minutes. So we had me, who was playing soldier. We had, I think, a Bastion. We had, I don't even know. It was a Zarya, a Junkrat, a Reinhardt, and a McCree. Notice the one thing that was missing from that team comp. A healer. We didn't have a healer for that entirety of the game. Or that entire round, which was about 2 minutes. And you had people spam pinging in chat, healer, 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 healer. Or you had a guy who had a mic saying, we need a healer. Guys, we need a healer. And he switched off of like a tank to play McCree. And it was just like, we have a Bastion, we have a Junkrat, we have a soldier. Why do we need a McCree? Why not a healer? So, for me in these scenarios, I don't talk. I just go about my business. I just play Overwatch. Because, especially when I'm playing in Platinum. Because I feel like I can carry my team to victory. That's just how I feel. I had 49 eliminations. I had 7 deaths. That was a really great game for me. I feel like I can just carry my team. And it's just like, I don't really care what most of my teammates, are doing for the most part. Because I know that I'm playing against people that just are not very good at the game in comparison to ranks that I play at. So I'm perfectly fine with being like, all right, I'll just play Soldier 76 into a team that has no healer for us, and God knows what the other team has. I think they had like a Hanzo, an Orisa, and a Reinhardt, and I think another tank, and they didn't have they only had 1 healer, which, was a little bit better than us. But still, it's just like filling and flexing. It's not really, if you know that you're good at a specific role, play that specific role. If you know that your team, and this is like so opposite of what you would expect from Overwatch, because you would be like, you know what, I want my team to have a really good team comp. A really good team comp doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in League of Legends. It doesn't matter in Overwatch. I've won, like take that last game, for example. I won without having a healer on my team, and we had 2 tanks, or at least 1 tank. We had a Zarya and a Reinhardt. So we had 2 tanks on our team. We didn't have a healer. Obviously, they died, but because I carried my team, because I was dealing enough damage, it didn't matter that we didn't have a healer, because I was killing the other team so fast and so efficiently that it gave my teammates the ability to respawn and walk back to the payload. So I'm going to end the video here, and just by saying, if you know that you play a specific role very well, then take that specific role, never let it go. Like, if you know you play DPS very well, then take that role. If you don't play DPS, don't play DPS. But if you know you play a support, a tank, or DPS very well, play those specific roles. You'll have a lot more fun, and there will never be doubt in your mind that, oh man, if I was playing DPS, I knew we would have won that game. I would have used my ult, or I would have gotten more picks, or, you know, if I was a tank, I would have blocked damage better. If I was a healer, I would have healed better. Don't leave doubt in your mind. Play what you want to play. Play what you're best at. Don't play what you want to play. Play what you're best at. So that way you can win more games in competitive play, in competitive ranked. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. Tomorrow, I will also be releasing another video about toxicity in Overwatch. And I won't be cupcakes. It will not be soft. It will be very, very, very critical about Overwatch when it comes to the toxicity of the community. That's you and me. Toxicity. Until then, have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.